Hi everybody, I'm Doug Reina and welcome to my studio here in Setauket. I was the judge that was selected to review the 52 pieces for the H2O show at the Art Guild. And I just want to say a quick thank you so much to the Art Guild for letting me do that. I really appreciate it. It was fun. A lot of good work. And I had my hands full because it was hard to, choose everything. So I had to dig down into my criteria and say to myself, well, what is it that's really important to me here as a judge? And right off the bat, the first thing was an original and creative approach. Did I see that? Did I feel that? And then the second thing was, did the artist have the technical skills to deliver on that vision? In other words, how was the composition? How were the values? How were the color choices, etc., things like that. And then finally, I thought to myself, well, does this piece actually make me feel something? That I felt was happening in the pieces that I selected for first, second, and third. There was a definite feeling that was conjured up, that maybe the piece didn't exactly spell out. You know how some pieces of art, it tells you everything all at once and then the same thing forever. So every time you look at it, it's like, yeah, I got it. But with some pieces, when an artist allows for accident to be part of their process, there's some genuine creativity happening. And I feel with those pieces, I can live with them longer. If I had them in my house, they would have something new each time I looked at them, or if the light was different falling on them during different parts of the day. So that was on my mind. But again, it gets back to, did it evoke a feeling? And when a piece evokes a certain feeling in you, it touches your heartstrings a little bit. And I think that's the magic of art, how it came from one person, the artist, and a feeling was delivered to the viewer, and they shared a conversation. So that's what I was tuning into. I hope you're all happy with the selections that I made, and I wish you good luck with your future shows and your painting and getting through these crazy times that we live in. Thanks so much. First place award I gave to a painting that was called Surfacing. And I thought that this painting was mysterious, it was ambiguous, and it reminded me of when I had an abstract painting teacher who used to tell the class, try to use color as a sensation. And I thought, boy, the artist really did that here. Different levels of colors that helped create depth and light. I thought it was just great. It's a painting that I could easily live with. And it also makes me smile because it reminds me of when I was a kid in some pool coming up from the deep end. So there's this wonderful feeling about that painting. I thought it was a really good job, and I was happy to give it first. For the second place award, I gave it to a painting called Swept Away. And here I have to tip my hat to the artist because they did something really clever. They used the crazy nature of wet paint to also mimic the crazy, chaotic nature of water. And it really helped sell the idea. I thought it was brilliantly done. Plus, I like looking at this painting because you never see the same thing twice. It's so chaotic and so interesting, all the swirling craziness of it. I thought it was a clever idea, well done. Another painting which I thought, yeah, I could easily live with that painting too. For the third place award, I gave it to a painting called Charles River Before the Regatta. Not only did the artist keep their colors nice and fresh, they're very appealing, the colors, they're not muddy. It feels like you're looking into clear water, which I thought was clever. But also, they took something, it's a figurative idea, but it's also a painting that's abstract because you're looking at swirling water. So that was kind of a neat thing to see both figurative and abstract at once. And the last thing I'd like to say about it, if I can say this clearly, how shall I say this? There's a painterliness about this painting. It's not overly rendered. It feels like paint and the act of painting, the joyous act of painting, was allowed to be part of this image. For an honorable mention, I gave it to a painting called Floating. And I thought this painting is pretty cool because it's designed nicely. I like where the placement of the figure is and the action that's happening in the pool. But if you think about how hard it is to paint somebody who's half in the water, half out of the water, that transition between a wet arm down to an underwater body, that's not an easy thing to do. And I thought the artist handled it beautifully. Also, here's something that I did like about this painting. We're looking at a person who's having a quiet inner moment. And the funny thing is that for me, when I do that, all of a sudden, now I'm having a quiet inner moment. So it was a shared meditative quality about that painting, which I thought worked well. I gave Spider Mums in a Glass Vase an honorable mention because I thought it was a beautiful painting. Certainly the artist who painted it has great control over the paint, and it's a consistent painting. In other words, everything about that painting feels part and parcel to the whole thing. I also like the idea of the painting. Here we're describing water, but it's being described in a very quiet and subtle way. The handling of the glass with the water and the stems in it, beautiful. Flowers, beautiful. And interestingly enough for me, I tuned into the front of the table where just a few little daubs of paint was all the artist needed to say whatever light was hitting that plane of the table. And, you know, that takes a certain confidence to be that loose, and I just loved it. I gave an honorable mention to the painting called Blue Rocks Cove because I just love the way the artist, in a simple way, could give you a feeling of a big, broad body of water. And it was handled delicately in the front of the water where the shadows of the ripples are. And it wasn't overstated. It was just enough to give you the feeling of a beautiful summer day in front of that body of water. And I also felt that this is an artist who I think had some fun making this painting. It seemed like there was some genuine love between the artist and the scene, and I picked up on that. So I thought it was really nice.